And we are set to go. Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to our fourth
Welcome, guys.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
This is our fourth one, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm losing track. That's
I
what's
think.
going on. Um, so, we're doing this at a different time this time around. It is morning for everyone who is talking right now, so apologies if we don't sound 100% awake yet.
That's so true.
But,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
really feeling
trying
that.
we're trying to accommodate persons over to the east side of the world.
hmm
So
just to reiterate for people who haven't joined us before, the general rules, you can chat in general discussion as much as you want. We're going to have one person watching the chat to bring up any questions if you type them there. You can also raise your hand to join us in speaking if you want. Just be aware that we are recording this and putting it on YouTube, so if you don't want your voice recorded, then maybe just stick to the chat. We're basically just gonna go run down through the chapter itself and talk about the stuff that we liked, the stuff that we didn't like, and I don't know, make some jokes maybe. It's early. I'll figure it out. So
yeah, so
I
okay.
I am Otaku Imi. For those of you who don't know our voices off the top of your head,
I'm Coffee. Or
Uh,
random Hanako.
I I'm Tiara or Miko's hot right lung.
Amiko Cult continues.
Of course.
Okay, so chapter 80. There weren't a lot of predictions for this one, were there? I think
Yeah.
most of us were just
Yeah,
predicting that it was a Yashiro chapter, and I
Yeah.
was right. I was right.
Let's just
finally.
ignore the fact that we've been predicting that Yashiro would come for
Yeah.
like
No,
the
no one
last three
needs to know
chapters.
about that.
I mean, if you keep predicting, you'll eventually be right.
You know what? I was still right, and it feels good. So,
But yeah, it's the whole number corresponding thing. So chapter 80, you know how Yashiro's name is written with the kanji for number 8. So it just fits.
so yeah, we were all expecting it to be a Yashiro chapter. We were maybe expecting something a little bit more. We did there was a question asked on the Discord just a while back about how people felt about chapter 80, and it seems the general impression is that people are kind of disappointed by it. I wasn't.
Yeah, right.
I maybe was a little bit. What about you guys?
Yeah,
I think we just got our hopes too high. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, exactly. I think we were just hyping up the chapter
It was a pretty
and
normal chapter. There was nothing really
yeah,
super disappointing about it, besides
it
the fact that
was
we hyped it up too much.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a good chance. I don't know. We can talk a bit more about it after we go through the chapter itself. So,
Mhm. All
with
right.
that, I guess we
I'll
can jump into actually summarizing this baby.
All right, so we started with Teru and Akane. They're heading home. You know how Teru stole the connection to
He
number two's
so stole
laundry.
it. This is
Yes, he
not
stole it.
borrowing. This is like
It's
the
not
freaking
foreign.
doctor borrowing the TARDIS. I'm like, dude, are you really gonna give this back?
He's not.
He's
But
not.
yeah, let's just ignore that for now. He has a lot of faith in his brother, it seems.
He does,
That
and it's
yeah.
almost unwarranted because, like, even though we know that Ko is useful and he's the smartest of the two humans, which we follow,
hmm
um, from Tara's point of view, Ko has never actually done anything worthwhile as an exorcist. Like, he's never
Ex
exorcised a spirit.
exactly. And he wanted him to exercise Hanako for some reason, even though he knew he couldn't manage it.
He
But
did.
I guess he's just being an asshole.
So Akane is like, shouldn't we go help him, maybe? Tara's like, nah, he's got it. As for Yashiro, yeah,
Yeah,
Ko's
yeah,
got
sure.
it. Ko's got it.
But yeah, we switched to Yashiro very suddenly. She's climbing a wall,
And she's not
and
even being
she,
subtle about the fact that she's been missing for a while. Hey guys, long
yeah,
time no see. Straight to the audience. It almost felt like a gut punch. Like, what are they gonna say when Hanako comes back if that's what they're saying here?
hmm and you know she's calling for Hanako and Aoi. She's still looking for them, but then we see this very peculiar looking creature, a zombie maybe.
She
We
definitely
know that
looks like a
they're
zombie. That is a
mm,
corpse that is
yeah,
walking and talking.
but isn't that like the first time we've ever seen something like that in this series?
It might be. Huh, I'm thinking about it now. We've seen creepy
Like what? Like
dolls, we've seen creepy clones. I don't think we've
Yeah,
I
seen
mean,
but
creepy zombies before.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But supposedly you can talk to them. Like what the introduction of the new husband that we don't know the name of.
So I've been calling him
He
bro, just based on the fact that Yashiro has been using Onisan. So it's just bro right now. That's it. So
but
Zombie Lady here is going on about just being completely filled with rage. It's
mhm,
unforgivable. I don't know what's
unforgivable.
unforgivable, but something is unforgivable.
It's probably the fact that they told her she was going to get married, but dumped her in a scary hole.
Yeah, there's a potential that they might be a little bit mad about having been tossed into a hole to die.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I might be a bit mad about that too, personally.
yeah. But yeah, at least we got a big, strong man with a sword to come and save the damsel in distress. Yashiro.
He
And
he turned
yeah,
her to water. Can we stop and talk about this for a second? Because like this
wait, what?
guy, probably a dead guy, he just like taps this zombie girl on the head and is like and then poof, she's water.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how that
Maybe they
happened.
just didn't exist in the first place.
I don't know. It's pretty impressive though.
Yeah, but hmm he seems pretty nice though.
He does seem very
Oh
nice. A
yeah.
total sweetheart for someone who was very not kindly sacrificed.
Mm. Am I the only one that thinks he looks like a cross between Akane and Teru? I
He
can't be the
does.
only
You're
one.
not wrong.
No, I only think of the fact that he looks like a male Sakura because
He
he's
Male
also
so
looks
much
Sakura. Oh
like
like
that.
male
yeah,
Sakura.
that's
Hmm.
so true.
I think we're seeing
Hmm.
a case of reoccurring designs going on here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oop. Oh well. I wonder
Oh,
what
for
color
those who
his
just
hair is.
joined, the comments are in general discussion. Yeah, so you can comment there. Um, so we learn about his past, and he apparently he's the only male that got sacrificed to the quote unquote gods.
Yeah, very
And
clearly from the same village that Samiri came from,
yeah, yeah.
but probably later on.
Mm-hmm. Sakura's ancestor.
You know,
Maybe we don't know.
that's a
You
theory
know,
we haven't touched on
that's a
before.
theory. That's a new theory. Oh, that has
Who knows what's
potential
going
there.
on with Sakura, so why not?
Exactly. It could be Sakura herself.
It could be. It's actually Sakura. There, we just solved the mystery. This is how Sakura met Tsukasa.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Hmm.
he starts going into his backstory, and
They
just
dressed
trying to
him up
find
as
it
a
here.
female
They
and threw him in
dressed
a
him
hole,
up as
by
a
the way.
girl. Not only did they
Yeah.
sacrifice him because they literally ran out of other girls to sacrifice, but they even dressed him up as a girl for it. I'm like, dude, talk about hitting below the belt. That's just not nice.
Exactly. And trust me, I would be filled with rage like those other zombies there if that was what happened to me. But I'd kind of wonder why he's the only one that looks like this and the rest of them are just they just seem to be corpses.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
not too sure what that one's about.
If we go
Sacrificing
back
so
for
many females,
if we go back
so
for
they
just
have
a
to go for
sec,
the men.
when he describes the whole process of sacrificing, the way he describes it doesn't really match the way Samiri described it back during
Mhm,
her arc, because he says that in exchange for the sacrifice's life, your wish will be fulfilled. And wishes never really came up when Samiri was talking about the custom. I mean, she didn't go into a lot of details herself. She just kind of referred to it as a marriage to a god,
mhm.
but like the idea was sacrifice to the pit and the pit will not spew out monsters to myrtleize you. But here
Maybe
he's talking about it differently. It's that not only is it that, but also it's about fulfilling people's wishes, which, could probably explain why they ended up sacrificing so many girls that they ended up running out of girls.
And then you have to wonder, maybe it's just a whole facade. I mean, after you run out of maidens, you can't really say, oh, you're going to marry the gods because, the gods seem to just love those maidens. And, you're going to sacrifice a guy. So you might as well tell him the truth that, hey, we want person's wish. wishes to be granted and you're a guy, we can't tell you that you're going to marry the gods. So yeah,
Or, you
straight
know,
up,
since
the
he
feather straight
himself
up.
wasn't raised to be a sacrifice, he was just in on
Yeah,
that knowledge from the time he was
yeah.
younger. But can
Hmm.
we talk about how the Akane family even survived past this era? Because supposedly it's always the Akane family, right? Even this guy is implied to be part of the Akane family. If they sacrificed so many girls that they literally ran out of girls, then who the heck is Aoi's ancestor? Like, where did the line come from? Why didn't it die out? I don't know.
Someone said, "What if Sakura
Yeah.
came from the village and ran away because she knew she would be sacrificed?" That's
Yeah.
assuming that Sakura is a very old lady.
Because it's the same
Yeah.
village, right?
But
It's
we don't.
we're in the same
I
town here.
can't say
But
anything about
then, but
Sakura
then she
really.
would be, she'd have to be an Akane as well because they seem to be sacrificing Akanes.
They are
But then
definitely.
they said that all the maidens, I don't know,
Yeah, I don't
they
know.
weren't
'Cause
really clear on that one.
yeah.
Anyways,
Imagine.
let's just move past it. It may just be a translation thing, because even the Ropes of Fate translations tend to be a bit rough sometimes, trying to decipher what's being said. I don't know.
They said someone said, Lemon said, imagine if the adults said it was a marriage or something so that the girls wouldn't get so scared um being sacrificed. I guess because they were saying like, oh, you'd live on. Dying is a good thing. Being married to the gods is a good thing. So maybe
What
it's not
if?
that bad.
It's
Maybe
interesting that
that's
being
true.
tossed into the pit isn't, like, properly dying. Like, he doesn't even describe it as,
Yeah.
I hit the bottom, I
Yeah.
died, and then I ended up here. Like, he got washed away into this
But
other
then again,
place.
in Toilet Bound, the definition of dead is very sketchy because is Mary dead?
Yes. Because she
Are
was
you
Yeah.
properly
sure?
I would.
sacrificed.
She was, but okay, so she's a supernatural and she's dead. You can also have supernaturals that are alive as well.
You're not
Yeah.
wrong.
Like,
Okay, now you're
yeah,
making me think about it, because, like,
Yeah.
she might not have
She.
actually died. It depends on
Because.
whether the sacrifices themselves are dead, because we've been going with the running theory that Baby Sue is still technically alive. And if he
yeah,
is,
I don't.
then potentially all the other sacrifices are technically alive, except for the
alive.
zombies. I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to assume that the zombies are
Okay.
dead.
Always definitely dead though. What do you think about that?
I don't think she is, strictly. Because if she
Mm.
was officially dead, then Taro wouldn't
Or
consider her
is she?
savable.
Really? I mean, look how Hana. Well, maybe he's just satisfied with bringing her back if he can interact with her as much as Yashiro interacts with Hanako.
Maybe. I don't know. It
Maybe she
depends
is
what he
just
wants
dead.
her
Maybe
for.
there's no hope for. Maybe there's just no hope for her. Well, yeah. Well, he wants to marry her. We know that now.
I'm pretty sure
So,
that was just an assumption made by Akane.
oh, oh yeah, it is. But it's most likely though.
Okay.
But anyways,
Anyways,
yeah. Okay, so back to the chapter. Yeah, after being thrown into the pit, uh, yeah, Yashiro decides to describe that. Oh, have you seen this girl that's very popular, Aoi,
it
or
tries
this
to
guy,
imitate her.
Tsukasa? Yes,
Because
tries
he
to
brings it
imitate
up.
them.
He says, there's one person that came here before you, a kid named Sukasa. And she's like, oh,
Hmm.
does he look like this? And I don't know. Like, did you see the imaginary hat on her head or something? Like, anyway.
Exactly. Imagine how ridiculous she looked without that.
But
But
all he
yeah.
had to say that it was a runt about this tall, and she's like, "Oh, it was that kid." And I'm sorry, Yashiro, you still get negative 10 points for this revelation because not only did someone have to tell you that it was Tsukasa, but you
Hmm.
just completely brushed off the fact that he's small. It's like, oh, yep, Tsukasa, he's small for some reason. That's odd. Let's move on. Like, just
At least it's better than thinking he's Hanako's descendant. That's good. It's good that that's out of the way.
that
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
out of the way.
actually solved this difficult math problem.
Oh
I
gosh,
like how
this
they
girl.
displayed it too.
I do
I
love
like how they
Nene, I
displayed.
swear. She is a
Yeah.
fantastic
That's,
character, but
that's true. We
dang is
don't. We
she
don't know if Sakura
slow.
is dead or not. I mean, not Sakura. Aoi. We don't know if Aoi is dead or not. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Just because Hanako said so doesn't mean it's fact. Because he lies all the time.
She's kind of dead. She's maybe mostly dead.
She's mostly dead, probably.
Yashiro became 10 times dumber from being depressed. Or
Potentially.
maybe smart.
He's locked in jail.
Yeah, no. She's been depressed since the start. So yeah, it's true.
Anyways, she does have one revelation here that if Tsukasa was here and he was in the Red House, then that means there is a way back.
I
And she
mean,
gets
she
1 point for
seems to
that.
be
She's still at
able.
like negative 50 points for the initial descendant thing and for now,
Yashiro
but she
Emo
gets
arc.
plus
So
1 point
hard.
here.
Yashiro's Emo arc. Okay, I mean that's a simple math. That's like putting two and two together. That's I'd give her maybe a half point for
Half
that.
point?
Yeah.
The judging is harsh.
It's very smart for Yashiro standards.
Yeah,
So-
there we go.
But yeah, he seems to know that there's a way out, although he can't. It's the only way out. And after being there for so long, you'd think he'd know more ways out, but
He does point
there's
out
only
that
one
he
way out,
doesn't know
apparently.
how Tsukasa got back, that he just kind of like disappeared at some point.
Yeah.
It's implied that he wasn't there for very long, and I mean, it's gotta be the kid in the red house, right, that got pulled back, but like, we have no idea if Sue actually found his own way back, which is possible, or if the red house actually pulled him back because they wanted to use him for something.
Yeah, so that's a thing. And I doubt he took the same route, honestly.
No,
I
he
don't
probably didn't turn into a fish and come back
He probably didn't turn
through
into
the
a fish.
pipes.
Yeah. And then we get this scene here. You know, Yashiro basically admitting her feelings for Hanako.
Again, and
Again.
Again.
let's talk about this because Yashiro admitted that she likes Hanako during the Picture Perfect arc. She didn't elaborate on like, but she did have like two distinct moments where she was just like, I do like you. And since the Picture Perfect arc, we have had 5 people call her out on her feelings. The first time was Akane, he did it in passing, and it was kind of a joke. Second one was Aoi, which was also a joke because Hanako was there, and it was funny. And the third time, why am I blanking, was Samiri in the Boundary. Again, kind of played off as a joke. And then we got Ko, that was not played off as a joke. And it was the first time where she like straight up couldn't deny it because it would be a lie, let's be real. And now we've got this guy who's pointing it out. That's a writing strategy, guys. That's them developing
Building up.
the relationship essentially without actually having Hanako there. Like they're building up to something.
Yeah, a confession is going to come soon, guys. Don't
I
worry.
want a
boy.
confession. I want her to slap him and then kiss him.
Slap. That's oh gosh. Same. She needs to slap him. And
She
then
does say that it's in her plans.
Perfect.
She plans to slap him
Mhm.
if
yeah, she
possible.
says he deserves it. He deserves it.
It is sweet the way she describes it, that she likes that he calls her Yashiro, because he's the only one who does it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart. I can't take it.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
so
is probably
sweet.
a good time to mention this. Do you guys remember the time when we saw the ghost of this Akane looking creature guiding Nene and and Akane, the male, to the elevator, saying that, oh, I'll take it to the child. And she was like singing this song. And then we heard little Sue singing the same song. It's actually the case where he learned the songs from these zombie corpses.
Yeah,
in
he
the-
probably
As in,
did.
we don't know if that was Sumire or not. We don't know who that was exactly.
yeah, we
It
don't
could
know
have
if
been
that
a
was
different Akane girl.
I don't think it's her, but
They look very similar, so
yeah.
At the very
As they
least,
should.
odds are that Sue learned that song from the many, many sacrificial maidens that were down in that pit with him.
So that's the reason why this in this arc we've seen such a strong connection to number six's boundary. And we've actually been discussing if that cave down there is the connection. Or is number six's boundary. Doesn't have to be now that we think about it. It's kind of
Yeah, when we talked about it, the pit itself isn't in number six's boundary, really. Because what we saw in the Samiri arc, that was a memory. It was a reconstruction. That's not actually where she was. The pit itself is more likely where the red house is, but there's still a connection because of the bugs. So, not entirely sure what's going on there, but the point
Because
is
of the
the red
bugs.
house is more strongly connected to the pit than number six's boundary is.
Yeah, I would have been happier if, they were actually in number seven's boundary, but whatever. I guess they're not ready for that one yet.
We'll talk
How
about it
many
at
how
the
many
end.
months has it been? Jeez, too many months. 10
Let's
months?
not think about it. Let's
Okay,
not
let's
think
not
about
think
the
about
fact
it.
that we're coming up on a year soon. It's just a couple months
Yeah.
away.
Are we really going to go here? I can't.
We might go
I
a year.
That'd be unbelievable.
Anyways, so they
So
reached a point
basically,
where
the red
there's
house
a
was.
way out, and it's just a hole in the wall. It is a hole with water coming out of it, and he's like, I'm sorry, this is the only place I know about. And then we jump back to Ko, who's looking at the kid and is kind of lost, but is starting to put the pieces together. But before he puts the pieces together, Yashiro bursts out of a pipe in fish
The
form.
fish. Mm-hmm. Loki, I was hoping that was like, maybe Teru or Akane. That
I
would,
know. I
speed
remember when
things
the
up a bit.
chapter was releasing, and we got like the page just before we see it's
I was
Yashiro, and
hyped.
everyone's like, "Oh my God, Tara and Akane are bursting through the wall!" And then this page shows up, and
Yes.
they're like, "Oh,
Yeah, that was disappointing.
it was funny."
I think that's the biggest disappointment of the chapter. Yashiro basically made a full circle. She didn't have to leave. She didn't have to go anywhere. She just left and came back. It was not co-found her. She left and came back. That
Yeah,
didn't have
so
to happen.
we can
But he
talk a little
learned a
bit
couple
about why
things.
this was disappointing. Personally, why I found this a bit disappointing is because for the longest time I had the highest hope that Yashiro was going to see the Yugi's past wherever she was. Like, I wanted her to see it. I wanted her to see the moment where Hanako had to kill his brother. And I was so hoping that that's where she had disappeared to. And alas, I was wrong, and I'm sad.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't have liked that because I do want Hanako to like be there when that happens and
Oh, to
like
like
for him
Indeed.
to
explain
like
to her.
instigate it. Yeah, because
Oh.
he needs to do that.
Yeah, he
Like,
said that he would explain
mm-hmm,
everything to her, like how
exactly.
many chapters ago now?
He promised.
It still would
He
have been so
promised to.
cool, though. Oh. It's okay. I'm
But
That
not
would have
it's
been,
I'm not
yeah.
still
really mad, but
so
the point is Yashiro really didn't do much on her own. Again, she
yeah.
essentially got saved by Bro over there and he guided her to the exit and they had a
Yep.
discussion in the meantime and now she's burst through a pipe. You know, if Yashiro has a superpower, I would like to think that it's good luck because dang is she lucky to keep coming
He
across
has a
people that will
superpower.
help her out.
She has a superpower. It's turned into a fish. And that pretty much saved the day.
It did.
She's
For once, turning into a fish was an extremely useful skill for her to have because she wasn't getting out of there if she couldn't do that.
but yeah. Um so it's pretty much confirmed that Cole didn't see the flashback. That was obvious. But some persons have been saying that he saw the flashback. He didn't.
I know he's just, I don't get it. And all he heard was
Yeah.
the kid saying, "My wish was fulfilled," and that's it. It's the only
Mhm.
part of that
I
entire
still
chapter co-experienced.
I still really like imagining in that chapter that like Ko was just standing there while Tsukasa was having his long flashback and he was
Yeah,
just
like
like,
5 minutes. He's just standing there pointing.
is he okay?
You hear crickets in the background, like what's going on?
Yeah.
Sizzling. Ko's mom memory is still just hanging out in the kitchen behind them. Because they're still
Mhm.
there.
So how do you guys think things will come together with Teru and the Red House? Do you think he'll go to Red House?
I don't know if they're
Well,
because
they're headed to number two's boundary, right?
they
Mhm.
said they were heading back, so I'm assuming they're going back home. From there, probably they're going to go to number two's boundary, considering that that's the key they got. But
Mhm.
yeah, they're not going straight to the red house. As for these two that are in the red house, well, they're back together now, which means I hope that they start grilling baby Sukasa about what the heck is going
That
on.
was something that Yashiro
Yeah.
said she wanted to do. So,
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
they need to
she
find that out because there's still a lot of mystery surrounding this arc. Regardless of the amount of things that we've learned about the Red House, we still don't know.
just gotta
mm,
connect the dots. Like, oh my gosh,
Leave
Sukasa,
that
yeah.
up to
okay.
Yashiro. Maybe Yashiro and Cole can do it together. They can connect many dots together. But Yashiro on her own, no.
I don't
She
know.
did
I'm
connect like
counting on
three
Ko
dots.
here. I will depend on Ko to bring up the important points if they're
Oh, the
going to be
key.
brought up at all.
The key.
Oh my
Would the
gosh, the
key have any
key.
significance?
I forgot
I
about the
forgot about
key.
that key.
Yeah.
The key.
If it does come
Hanako's
into
key.
play, I don't think it's going to be soon, at least not yet, because it's so closely tied to Hanako. And as long as we're not talking about Hanako yet, then I don't think it's going to be important.
This
I
is
mean,
his
it
arc.
might be. I might be wrong. Maybe now that I've stated it, it's going to become important. Because subverting my expectations is something this manga does very well all the time.
Yep.
Yep.
I wonder if Tsukasa would actually answer the questions though, because he's been dodgy.
Yeah, he has.
He's been kind of dodgy. I mean, not for the audience. He's been less dodgy with the audience than he has for
Oh
Ko because
yeah.
we got to see the flashback.
Hmm.
We got our answers there, but oh, these
He has
guys.
been extremely dodgy. Ko said, "What's his year wish?" He said, "I made my wish. My wish has already been granted. That is why I can't leave." How dodgy do you want him to get? That is extremely dodgy. Maybe we saw the flashback. Ko didn't.
The Ko didn't
And
see the
Yashiro won't
flashback.
grill him because she's Yashiro.
Of course. I mean, she might
Imagine
try,
Yashiro being
but she'll get
intimidated.
She'll
distracted.
try, but like, yeah.
She's
Imagine
gonna
Yashiro
come
being
back and
intimidated. That
be.
doesn't work.
Yashiro's gonna come back here, and she's going to be under the assumption that baby Tsukasa is the same one that she knows.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
she's gonna start grilling him under that pretense. It's gonna
Yeah, he's gonna
poor kid's gonna be so confused.
be. But maybe that would bring out more answers.
I
It
hope
must.
so.
It must bring out more answers. Well, like, maybe we're
Okay.
having too much faith in Yashiro, maybe not. But we'll see what goes on.
I feel like I have zero faith in Yashiro. I can hope for things, but like I don't expect her to do much.
Nah,
I at
same.
least hope she uses the name Amane if she asks about Hanako to Tsukasa. Please
She
do.
never calls him that. She
It
doesn't
was
think
so
of him that way,
frustrating
so
last time.
Do you guys think that this is like a random question, but do you guys think that Hanako likes Yashiro's legs?
yes.
Do what
in
did we
in
all read the
general
spin-off?
discussion right now.
Did we
General
all read
discussion
the
right now.
spin-off?
Do you think he likes her legs?
Absolutely. I do think that.
Absolutely, yeah.
When he was
No
hugging
question.
the fire
Yeah, the fire
extinguisher.
extinguisher. Thinking it was her legs.
Oh god.
But you know,
All
but
right.
that's even more of a reason to ship them because he accepts her insecurities and her
Exactly.
imperfections.
They're so cute. All right, so
He
we
just
reached the
accepts
end
her
of the actual
imperfections.
summary, so we can jump into Q&A stuff. Essentially, just shoot questions in the chat or ask to come up and ask your question out loud, and we'll do our best to answer anything and everything.
Mhm. Um, yeah, so if you have a question that you want to ask, you can raise your hand. SN has a question. I'm gonna bring you up and you can ask your question. Bear in mind that if your mic isn't all that good, we'll ask you to go back to the audience and just type your question. You can come up, SN. SN?
Uh,
You're muted. Your mic is muted.
yeah.
I did not notice my mic was muted. My bad. So,
Yeah.
what kind of connection does the red house and number six the boundary have? Because those two seem really connected. That's like the only question I have right now, because everything so it seems shrouded in mystery.
Okay.
So
So
there
the
were
connections.
two big connections between them. The first is obviously the sacrifices, Samire, uh, and the second is the bugs, right? Because the bugs that kidnapped Yashiro in the Red House are the same bugs that kidnapped Yashiro and Hanako out of Number Six's boundary and
The
took them to Samire.
the bugs are like the biggest thing for Ring right now because those were something that seems specific to his boundary.
Yeah, and the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he was singing the song. So
That that I think he just learned from the maidens in the pit.
Yeah, we
yeah,
can
Not
but
sure
kind
if
of
that's
cut
part of
Number
number six's
Six's
boundary yet.
boundary out of that
So
connection
yeah.
true,
entirely.
Hmm.
But
true.
those bugs are still suspicious. Like, what's up
Yeah.
with those bugs?
The
There's one
bugs.
Can the
ability that is
bugs
not related to
have some
either of
sort
them.
of symbolism? Like, you know how the flowers have symbolism and all that? Can the bugs have any kind of symbolism in the story or something? Because those seem really suspicious. Like, they just appear a few times by now.
They might. I don't know Japanese folklore well enough to be able to make the connection, but there's a chance that there's some sort of connection to Japanese
I only
mythology.
think it's suspicious because those bugs have only appeared in number 6's boundary. Nowhere
Yeah,
else.
exactly. So
They weren't
I
in
guess
any of
this
the other
thing,
boundaries.
we're
Yep.
pretty sure that it's connected to number six's boundary, but we're not exactly sure why. Specifically the pit. The pit. So we know that they've been tossed into a pit, potentially the same pit that Aoi tricked Yashiro and Hanako into falling into. But um yeah,
Is there
we're not
one
even
pit or
sure if
multiple pits? It's all very confusing.
exactly.
Is the
Exactly.
pit
We know
alive?
there's one big main pit, and that's the pit that Sumeri was thrown into. But yeah, the school is most likely built on that village. Maybe.
The entire town was built on the village, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Wasn't this the whole town? I thought the school itself was just built on top of the village or something.
No, well, the entire town dates back to that specific thing.
Oh,
Like
that makes more sense. Okay, makes more sense.
the school itself is kind of a hotspot for supernaturals, but
Yeah.
I think, I mean, you can't fit that one school on top of what was supposed to be an entire village. Like even
Alright.
an old village would have
Alright, we
been a
got
lot
another
bigger than
question
that.
here.
I'm gonna put SN back into the audience. Thank you for the
Okay.
question, SN.
We got a question from Yabuki Lemon. Do you think the spirit who got Tsukasa to make a wish was the same spirit the village was talking about?
Like the one that grants. Yes, I think it's
Yeah.
all the same entity. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wish granting spirit.
some sort of wish granting spirit that is
Mhm.
taking
And
sacrifices.
Tsukasa probably draws his power, like the Tsukasa that we know and some love. He's the one who he draws that power from the spirit, probably.
If it is the same spirit, then what we're talking about is essentially a god,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's how
Basically.
the guy describes him. So
So does that mean that there's actually two gods, or are the seven mysteries just serving this god? All right, let's not get into that.
Let's not get into the religion
That's for the
aspect.
theories.
We
This
do
is
not know.
for the theories. Mika's hot tongue. I'm going to bring you up in a sec, but I want to explain something. I'll have explained this before. Um, the whole dynamic with the village and
oh,
the school and the purpose of the school. So you know that the school has the seven mysteries, and there are seven main pathways that lead towards the boundary. Um, and they for some reason all pass through the school. So they have the seven mysteries to guard these seven boundaries, and the school is pretty much an area. It's pretty much an area of students, and they're very superstitious students, and they just propagate the rumors in order to keep the supernaturals in existence, so that they can stay on the near shore, and guard the pathways. Because you can't be on the near shore without a rumor to tie us to the near shore. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. Um, in case if you guys didn't know. But I'm going to bring up
then we got more questions in the chat
Hot
too.
Song.
Just
Yes.
be patient with us.
All right, so I'm gonna bring you up because Hot Song.
Oh, yeah, Aoi is actually dead, right? So is that how it is? Actually, Aoi's actually dead.
We don't really know for sure. Like
Yeah,
she's
like we were saying,
yeah.
the definition of
Mostly dead.
dead in this they said that her body decayed and it's just that her soul is
Yeah.
left behind. So in that sense, she's dead. If does that define what being dead is in Toilet Bound? I'm not too sure.
She's dead
Yeah.
enough that she couldn't come back with
So-
Akane, but not
Yeah.
so dead that Teru thinks he can't bring her back.
Save her. Maybe they
Yeah,
need to
the way
rebuild
they
her.
described it was like she's basically dead, but like not
Maybe
literally.
maybe she's in the same situation as Sumeri, and Sumeri could go to the near shore. So
So basically, as dead as my chances of getting a girlfriend.
yes.
I don't know how dead
mean-
that is, but it sounds about right.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna
Like
move you
you-
back to the audience.
Like God.
All right.
Like,
Let's
yeah.
get some these questions from the chat. So we got what do you think is gonna happen with the key?
My personal opinion, I still think it's going to relate somehow to Hanako's backstory,
Yeah, probably. I agree with that.
Probably.
or
Like
potentially
I
his
said, I have
boundary.
Mhm. I
Mhm.
think so too, but I haven't really been focusing on the key because of the circumstances surrounding how we got that key in the first place. Yashiro basically went into the past
Mhm.
and interacted with the past so to get a key. So
Mhm.
that might change up some things leading to the future where she still has where she stole the key from Hanako,
Unless
essentially.
we're working with a fixed timeline, in which case it didn't affect anything. It always
I would
happened.
hope we're working with a fixed timeline because or else
Yes, because it would be
time
way
travel
too hard to
shenanigans get really
explain.
bad.
It'd be way too hard to explain how the key um changed Hanako's past or future.
Mhm. Yeah, time travel is a hot mess, guys. It is not easy to make it work
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
fiction. And
Yeah.
this manga isn't about time travel, right? It's just kind of a side thing. So I
Yeah.
really
Mhm.
hope they don't dive too deep into it because I just don't think they've set themselves up to deal with complex timelines.
Hopefully
So yeah.
Hanako's hopefully Hanako someone said they thought that was D3 low. Um yeah, Hanako in the next chapter. No.
All right. Do we
Hanako
have
in the
any
next
other
Okay.
chapter.
questions?
No.
Yeah, we do. We do. Do you think the cave Yashiro is in have something to do with number six's boundary from Stardust?
I don't. I don't think it's connected exactly. I think
Yeah.
there's a chance that both the Red House and Number Six's boundary has a connection to the pit, but like
Maybe the red house was built on the pit. That could explain why the red house is so cursed.
the Red House might be
But
built on the pit.
Yeah.
Although it makes
It
you
could
wonder
be,
but
how
yeah.
they would have managed to do that.
but is that pit I think the right question to ask is that pit connected to number six's boundary?
There we
Because
go.
that's something that we don't know. The only time we see that pit is in Sumeri is when we got into
Yeah, the
Sumeri's
pit is where
time
the
capsule.
sacrifices are.
Is when we went into Sumeri's time capsule. And that
Mhm.
was a memory. That was a reconstruction of a memory, as
Yep.
Ine said. And they said that they were still in number six's boundary, but it's still a reconstruction of a memory, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, that wasn't the actual place.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to keep track of my ideas, but it's so hard to explain.
Okay. Mika just asked if the pits where the sacrifices are. Yes.
Mhm.
And
But only the sacrifices that were thrown into the pit, because this was also something we talked about. All the people that went missing or died in the Red House, they're not in the pit. We know they're not in the pit because Bro actually said, like, the last person before Yashiro showed up was baby Tsukasa, which means all the people that disappeared in the Red House between Tsukasa sacrificing himself and Yashiro showing up, like, they're not in the pit. So I guess they weren't sacrificed? I don't know. I don't know
oh,
what's
so
going on.
Yashiro got sacrificed to not if she you can say she got sacrificed, but she got sacrificed to nothing. Okay,
Y-
let me clear up something. The pit that Aoi tricked Yashiro and Akane into and Hanako to fall into, that pit is not necessarily connected to the big pit that Samari got thrown into. We don't know, so we don't really want to make that assumption. We know that the big pit, is somewhere in the town. Maybe it's under the red house, and we know that the pit that is in number six's boundary is in number six's boundary. We don't know as for Yashiro being a sacrifice, if she's a sacrifice, then she got sacrificed to nothing, or she got sacrificed as a way of a like a punishment because she wasn't supposed to try and take the kid outside of the house, and that's the only reason why she ended up in her situation in the first place. If you
Yashiro
want to
wasn't
call
properly
her a sacrifice,
sacrificed.
yeah, if you want to
Like,
call her a
We
sacrifice, you
don't
can.
we don't know how old the guy in the hole is. He just said in his era. And we don't know when that was exactly.
And his hair looks kind
probably
of
a long time
It
ago.
old.
looks very old. Yeah, very old, but we don't know exactly.
Still
Yeah,
confused, Mika?
they're pointing out in the chat that like if she did fall into the sacrifice hole, then theoretically she should have died, but didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she still has the connection as a supernatural. Like she's got her curse, which has always kind of protected her a little bit when entering boundaries and whatnot. So, so yeah, like theoretically, she probably should have died when she ended up in the pit. But
Yeah,
she's not
she
dead.
seems pretty much alive, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Seems pretty much alive.
Yeah. Yashiro and Ko have always been a special case. So
And the kid also said that she's still here, even though, so that pit is in the red house
mhm.
It's connected to it at
and
least.
Yeah.
connected to it. So we
There's a
can pretty much
subway line
draw
between
the
the red
connection.
house and the pit.
So we can pretty much draw that connection in the pit. Yeah, the red
Yeah,
house is built
the
on the
dude in the
pit.
pit is dead. Yes.
Yeah,
He was
Probably.
a sacrifice.
he
Yeah.
looks very much alive, but
He's
he
more
Yeah.
likely dead than alive.
Yeah, I don't think.
why didn't he decay into a corpse? Maybe he's just too handsome.
I think he didn't decay into a corpse because he's the newest, essentially. Which is also kind of
Possibly.
funny. So if you think about it, the last person that got sacrificed was a guy. It makes you think, like, did they sacrifice the guy? And then the gods were like, the heck you putting in me right now? Like, you think I wouldn't notice that this was a dude? And then they got mad and then lashed back and then they never sacrificed again.
Yeah.
It's like, we need a different strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what happened.
Yashiro probably isn't dead because of her whole supernatural cursing she has going on. Because remember, Ko and Yashiro are like kind of different when it comes to boundaries than normal humans. They don't get affected the same way.
Yeah. And we still don't know if the pit is if the pit is a boundary.
Yeah, we don't know, but like, yeah, Ko and Yashiro are affected by supernatural things in different ways than
It
normal
has
humans.
Yashiro
water,
did
so it
seem
meets all the
quite certain that the pit
it meets.
wasn't a boundary, but that doesn't help.
But Yashiro doesn't know anything.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
but she was pretty sure of that, and I think it was more Ida Euro telling us
But
that it isn't a
yes,
boundary.
yeah, I think so too. Because
yeah.
ever since they've stepped into the red house, it's been, oh, this place has water, but I don't think it's a boundary. Oh, water this, but no boundary. Yeah, so maybe it's reasonable to say that it isn't a boundary.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So, oh, the elevator. um, yeah, I don't know if I discussed this before, but I personally believe that elevators are set up by Hanako.
That makes so much sense. It
Hanako wanted Akane to find the elevator so that he could con him or blackmail him into saying,
Yep.
"Oh, lend me your power, or else I will not take you to Aoi."
After it was confirmed that Hanako could like control the elevator by himself, I was like, huh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true. I
Should
hadn't
I
really
do
thought
this?
about it.
It's so much work to do this. So maybe,
And
we can
also,
make a deal.
yeah, that was really like, why didn't he summon the elevator earlier in
In
number
number
six's
six is
boundary?
bound exactly.
And
Yeah,
also,
that's super suspicious.
he knew immediately that they were in the elevator, right? Like, just randomly
Mhm.
calls them up, like, "Hey, what are you
It's
guys
his
doing?"
it's his elevator and it's probably given to him by God. So yeah, it's pretty much his elevator.
The whole
He can
thing.
control the elevator, and yeah, that whole thing was a setup. As I said before, he's been wanting to use number one's paw for the longest time,
Mhm.
and for some reason, we still don't know the reason. Um,
Everyone's just constantly been bringing up like number
number
one's
one
power will be useful. Number one will do something.
never use, but it's never,
Hasn't
never
been
does
used
Yeah,
anything.
yet,
gotta
anyways.
happen eventually.
I hope
Not
so.
yet, but
I mean, if
maybe
they're
they're
gonna
building up.
tackle any of the time travel stuff, it's gonna be when they start talking about number one's power.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, that seems to fit. That seems to fit very well.
Well, we got any other questions?
Yamabuki, Lemon, I don't know about that. Had to search the place before he can bring up the elevator. That seems kind of a stretch. Because he seemed to summon it really easily.
He
No,
summoned it
okay,
easy.
okay,
I
okay. So I
wonder if
had
he
this other
just didn't
theory.
save.
I had
Like,
this other theory. Well, I actually
Mhm.
looked at the whole the area. That elevator, that area, remember they were at the stairs and that elevator, they actually had to turn into like this area where the elevator was. Like it was just
Mhm.
this open area and then the elevator was there. I've been reading over number six's fight with Akane.
Mhm.
That there was a wall there before. I'm pretty sure there was a wall there. And for some reason when they're ready to, find Aoi, that wall became a whole elevator. If you look
Mhm.
back through like was it chapter 60, what chapter did they fight? Chapter
Yes, basically
61 or
Hanako is sus.
chapter 62 and chapter 63, then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. There was a wall there and it became an elevator.
Yeah,
So
but
that's like I said, that was a setup. Hanako put the elevator there to kind of drag
Mhm.
Kane.
Yep.
All right, I
Mhm.
think we've reached pretty much the end of the discussion here, guys.
Yep.
Any predictions for the next chapter?
I really hope we get Yashiro trying to grill Tsukasa, but I'm not.
Brandy's
That's about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Lol.
we're kind of reaching the climax of like the Red House arc itself. It might
Yeah. It
lead
seems
directly
like.
into a new arc, but
Mhm.
Ko and Yashiro are back together now, and Akane and Teru know what they're doing, and yeah, it feels like we're maybe getting to the climax of this little bit here.
Yeah. It does. Yashiro now knows that Tsukasa is Tsukasa, which is nice.
But she doesn't
Maybe
know that
maybe we got a
Tsukasa
fight
is
somewhere.
Tsukasa.
She doesn't she doesn't know that he's baby Sue. She probably thinks that like he's the Sue that she knows,
Yeah, pretty
just in a
much.
different form.
This is gonna be a fun time when we get to actually trying to explain all of this.
Yeah, baby Sue's gonna be like, what are you talking about?
Oh god.
Yeah, someone pretty much predicted that Yashiro and Ko are going to start questioning Tsukasa. Yeah, that's pretty much the next chapter.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll explain
Mhm.
himself, maybe not. Okay, so
We
All
might
right.
see Akane and Teru go into number two's boundary.
mhm.
Potentially. That would be cool because then there's a chance we might actually see number two. And I
Oh
miss the
yeah,
old Supernaturals.
I miss them so much.
It's been so long.
I
Yeah.
miss all of them.
I need to see Natsuhika. I wonder what he's up to.
I
Probably
do
Yeah,
wonder.
Natsuki and Sakura.
He's doing something
We
suspicious.
need. Probably, yeah.
Wait, if they go into number two's boundary, doesn't she have the
That's why they're
same
going
thing?
there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, because they can
I'm
get
pretty sure
anywhere
that's
from
why they
there.
chose her. Mhm.
Yeah. They're going to go into number two's boundary so that they can get anywhere and they can probably get into the red house as well. So
Yeah, and Tsukasa might learn about Amane's death. He doesn't know that the
but
brother he sacrificed himself to save.
Yeah.
but then again, we have to
Right,
think about the
that's what I mean.
circumstances of why did they go to number two's boundary in the first place? They went to number two's boundary to probably get the space thing, but that was before they got caught by the red house. So to kind of shift their purpose of getting number two's connection, maybe they're actually just going to go to Aoi.
Potentially.
Maybe they won't even
Maybe.
save Ko and
But
Maybe
but
not.
Teru
Apparently,
bothered to
Teru
steal
believes
that
that Ko
anyways
has
though,
yeah,
so
everything under control.
Teru's like, oh, I have faith in Ko. Ko can handle himself suddenly.
Well, now
But
I've got to believe that Ko can handle himself because
yeah.
I don't have that much faith, but they might pull it off. Maybe.
Yeah, so
I mean
that's what we're left to believe.
he figured out that the little kid was Tsukasa pretty quick.
He
I was
did
proud of him
figure
for
that
that.
out pretty quick.
Ko has 300 IQ for this arc.
But
So
traditionally,
yeah,
Ko has only ever been the distraction.
We got another question. Stardust says, what do you think Teru's dream about Aoi is?
he wants to marry her.
Probably not that, but
I think he
it
plans to use
it
her
might
for
have something to
something,
do with
but I
the
have
fact
no idea
that
what it
she
is.
is Akane, and they're pretty important when it comes to supernatural dealings. So
It's probably got
it's
something to do with the
probably
role. I don't know what it
It
is.
is
yeah.
obvious he likes her, and I've been
Oh
saying this
yeah,
ever since he
hmm
said he
that's
liked her. Ever
that's
since
for
he
sure.
joked about liking her.
Even if
Come
that
on.
dream isn't about marrying her, yeah, he does.
He does like her. I
He
can
said
accept
he has a dream and she's in it. Come on, you don't need to get any the specifics for that.
that. I don't know. You never know what Tara's
Disgusting.
thinking.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, that about wraps it up, I think. Thank you guys so much for coming, joining us for
Thank
this
you.
morning podcast where we were only 70% awake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was tough.
50%. Yeah, it was more like 50 for me, but then he graduated. He got up. I got up as I was talking. So,
I picked the average.
but yeah,
All right.
think we can pretty much wrap it up here.
All right,
Thank you guys
next
so much for
chapter-
joining.
Next chapter is on the 18th again, so back to our regularly scheduled programming for that one.
Yep.
Ah,
Unfortunately.
yeah. Can you
Alright.
imagine that they were building up so much of this chapter? Early release. Chapter 71 got an early release too, by the way. So that
Yeah.
was kind
So let's just
Sorry.
blame it all on chapter 71, okay? Can we agree that chapter
Yeah,
71 is the source of all our pain?
Yeah, that's the cause of all my problems, literally.
It's the source of all my obsession with this series.
And that is
Exactly.
the lesson to take away from this podcast, guys. Chapter 71 is the source of all human suffering. Okay.
Chapter
Yep.
71 is sus.
That's the lesson to take away from all of TBHK. Just
Here we go. We solved it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining.
Yep. Thanks. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye, guys. Thanks for joining.